Hello, my name is Brant Hunt, and my channel simply is Discerning What is True. Today is the 13th day of February, 2026. I'm going to be reading from the book that is Kabbalah and Exodus, which is chapter 43, which is entitled simply Radiance, although it's coming from the Bible, being Exodus chapter 34. So what he does simply is that he, which I have explained before, he goes through 4 to 5 different chapters sometimes, or 2 or 3 in particular one chapter of the Bible, that is. So thank you for being here. Let me change something here so I can make it easier for me to read. So again, this is from Exodus 34, Radiance. This is from the book called Kabbalah and Exodus. And this is the 43rd chapter of the book. After the revelation of the 13 qualities of mercy, the scripture changes tempo as it repeats the divine promise to aid the Israelites to take the land into which they will come, warning them to make no covenant with the inhabitants, lest they be corrupted by them. Indeed, Israelites are told to destroy all the religious institutions they find. The text then becomes a blend of the 10 Commandments and extracts from the priestly code, suggesting this passage was inserted later by scribes who did not understand the nature of the upper worlds. Indeed, they seem again concerned with enhancing priestly authority by placing their preoccupation with festival and sacrifice immediately after Moses' profound experience. There has been much scholarly discussion over the centuries about, say, the verse on not boiling a kid in a mother's milk. But a little common sense plus some deep experience indicates that most of the worldly analysis are merely learned solutions. When it is obviously that is a symbol for spiritual corruption, which is ironic in that it is in this context, I should say, learning without esoteric knowing or knowledge cannot tell the difference between theory and reality. Only direct personal experience can separate opinion from truth. That's correct. That is inter knowledge. Moses, both the Bible and the Fort Lord tells us, stayed for 40 days and nights on the mountain. There's that even number again, 40. During this time, he was taught all the Torah, that is, those things that are to be revealed and those things not to be revealed. The reason why it is said all these teachings was given is because the term, quote, 40 days and nights, end quote, is used. In Kabbalah, this phrase means that Moses experienced all 40 sephirah of the 4 worlds in both their imparting and receptive aspects. During this time, he neither ate nor drank because he was sustained by the same substance that feeds the angelical beings. This, tradition says, is the emanation of the Shekinah, the light proceeding from the world of emanation. Thus, it was that Moses slowly acquired the radiance that was to shine out from his face when he descended the mountain. Let's see if I have that book here. Let's see if it's here. I think I looked up that one time, but I may have forgotten. This is Shekinah, that's what it is. Yeah, I don't see it. I thought it might be here, but I think I tried this before. This word has come up many times. I maybe should look at this other one here. I have so many books up here, so it's kind of hard for me to get them all. Bear with me, just looking here, making sure. No, it's not. Okay, so it's not in this particular book either. So we'll continue on. The light proceeding from the world of imagination, as I said. Thus it was that Moses slowly acquired the radiance that was to shine out from his face when he descended the mountain. Seen in individual terms, when a person reaches Moses' level of enlightenment, he has then risen out of the mundane state of the body to the psychological world, to the place where the three upper worlds meet. Here, the divine glory radiates down upon his spirit and percolates his psychological organism. The greater the depth and duration of exposure to the upper worlds, the deeper and longer the radiance remains. In the case of those in the sustained contact, like the Buddha, the radiance becomes a permanent feature. In lesser beings, such as saints and sages, the phenomenon is not so marked, although it is recorded as a halo or as a aura that is sensed if not seen by ordinary mortals. Here we have the process by which the divine worlds penetrates the lower three vehicles of one who is purified enough to allow imagination to shine through his being. The scriptures goes on to describe the phenomenon. Quote, and it came to pass when Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the two tablets of testimony in his hand, that he did not know that the skin of his face shone, because he had been speaking with the Lord. That's in Exodus chapter 34, verse 29. Legend describes how Aaron and the people were afraid of Moses because before they had sinned, they were able to gaze at the seven fiery shields of the glory. Remember that seven is always critical in these scriptures, is seven all over the place. But now they could not even look upon a man who had been in the presence because of the profound awe they felt on seeing the light radiate from Moses' countenance. Perceive an individual experience this phenomenon may be witnessed after a deep meditation it is, session on the esoteric discipline, when certain people radiate a glow that perceptibly to everybody else. The quality of the radiance is extraordinary, purely, and gentle power that reveals the soul of the person. The light usually fades as the psyche and then bodily activities overlay the light and enclose it in mood and materiality. A similar phenomenon occurs with the newborn. They lose a lucidity of the being as their dense bodies and fumbling psyches cloud the spirit and overshadow the innermost radiance as they come down to earth to be fully incarnated. Moses, having reached the physical world, put a veil over his face. This is a metaphor for screening the interior radiance by the mask of the ego. The reason for this is that in life, the ego not only acts as the shutter between the outside world and the inner to prevent the coarser levels entering into the psyche, but also protects the inner from blinding the outer, as any mutual eye contact may do. When one is in the presence of a great being, discrepancies of one's own nature are illuminated by contrast, and this can be extremely painful. Both Jesus and Socrates were penalized by those they often inadvertently exposed as frauds by their clarity of vision. A teacher, therefore, will often shield his students from his full light out of consideration until they can bear to see themselves. Meanwhile, Meanwhile, instruction comes from behind a veil. Pythagoras and Muhammad are reported to have taught this way. Traditions say Moses taught according to a definite method whose rationale should be recognized by now. First, he instructed Aaron and then his two sons, while Aaron listened to a second time. After this, he taught the elders concerning the teachings about God, the world, and man, with Aaron and his two sons looking on. Then he taught the people with all those who had been instructed listening in. Thus, Aaron had heard it 4 times, one for each reality. I should say one for each level reality. Then Moses withdrew, and Aaron repeated what he had learned, as did his sons, the elders, and the people, until everyone had heard it 4 times. In this way, they were shown the teachings in the terms of each of the worlds and as the 4 levels of physical, psychological, spiritual, and divine. So this is what the 4 levels of the physical, the psychological, the spiritual, and the divine operations. How much was comprehended is to be assessed by one's own performance when being instructed. Without doubt, the different parts of one's makeup receive knowledge in different ways, so that the teaching may have a practical application, a psychological appeal, and resonant spirituality, and even gives one a moment of divine experience. Each level will respond in its own way, absorbing much unconsciously until it is recalled when needed by the individual at a particular relevant time. While Moses wore the veil before, while Moses wore the veil before the sight of the people, he removed it when he went up before the Lord. This describes symbolically how the veil was transformed from a protector into an impediment when Moses himself became the student. By discarding the veil, which is related to the knowledge of the psyche and the foundation of the spirit, it could open up to receive instruction from the highest. In this condition, he was in a state of Kabbalah, K-I-B-A-L, end quote, or K-I-B-A-L, or receiving, which is the root word of Kabbalah. After he had been taught, Moses turned from receiving from above to impairing to below. First, however, he covered his face so as not to discourage the people from the work of unification, as it comes to be called. This was not only the joining of the different tribes into a nation, but the work that brings all parts of a individual together and unites all the worlds within. So again, this is a chapter we're dealing with here. Been reading these things for the last, I don't know how long I've been reading this. Chapter was simply called Radiance. And this section is called, in this particular book, called Experience. Okay, and it's just, I think, 3 or 4 chapters it deals with, from chapter 41 all the way to the. So this is the experience that Moses receives when he goes to the mountain, which is actually, the mountain is actually within your head. You see, it's the highest part of you. You see, with that, we continue on. So this was 43, Radiance. And then the next section of the book will be dealing with another section, that is, I should say, is going to be dealing with what we call the work. Okay. But we're going to end right now with this particular chapter. Thank you for being here. My name is Brant. My channel simply is Discerning What is True. And we're going through the book of Kabbalah and Exodus. And thank you for being here. And I hope that it's well worth your time to continue to see how the Bible itself is revealing deeper information. Unfortunately, most people don't understand it. In fact, almost all people don't understand it. So have a good evening. You take care, and we'll talk to you soon.